So when did you leave Elektra the first time? Did you help with Injustice for All at all, or were you already gone by then?
No, I was still at Elektra during Injustice for All. There was so much aggravation going on during that record, and we all wondered like who should produce this record. I think at one point in time they may have spoken to Roy Thomas Baker. We spoke to Mike Klink because we loved Welcome to the Jungle and they loved Welcome to the Jungle and how that sonically sounded. In the end, I think it was what's his name, Fleming, that came back in.
And Steve Thompson helped mix it.
That's correct. Steve
Wright was a engineer on that. Yeah, it's a who's who of producers on that.
I mean, great album, and of course, then everybody bitches and complains about the bass,
right?
And like, where is the bass? In retrospect, I don't know if that was on purpose, but after Cliff died, it took Jason a long time to really get integrated into the band. You got to keep in mind these were young people who lost basically their brother.
Right.
The guy that was, played on all the records up until the fourth album. And, it's just still so hard to explain, like, why that happened. But once it was released, everybody like loved it. I mean, what a great record that is!
That's so good. Honestly, sonically, it sounds great.
Yes,
and it's a pretty intense record from start to finish. As you mentioned Cliff there a little bit, what are your memories on Cliff? Obviously, I played bass as a kid all through my teenage years and things like that because of Cliff Burton. So, give me some good Cliff stuff.
Well, let's see. I signed them in '84. I'm East Coast most of the time. They're West Coast most of the time. So I didn't have many encounters with him. Right after Roseland in '84, the next day, they were at my office at Elektra, and they knew a bit about the history of Elektra, and I gave them cassettes and vinyl of the MC5, the Stooges, the Doors. Cliff's palette was a bit more broad maybe than the rest of the guys. And he wanted stuff like, he was like, Alago, you got Simon and Garfunkel? And I'm like, Cliff, that's CBS, but I will go get that for you. But we had an esoteric label called None Such. And that was all the music that Cliff wanted to hear. Things that were different and atmospheric. And so I gave him a box of all that stuff. I remember we were in London. They might have played the Lyceum. I wanted to take everybody for dinner. Nobody wanted to go except Cliff and Lars. So we went to this posh restaurant on Neal Street in Soho, and we're just sitting there and having wine and champagne, and all of a sudden I thought, Cliff, you can't snort cocaine at a restaurant. He's like, Alago, cut it out. It's not cocaine. It's purple snuff. And I was like, purple snuff? Is that the stuff you get in all the head shops? And he was like, yeah. And I just thought, okay, I'm not saying anything. Pass the champagne, Lars. But he was a character. He was a lovely human being. He was an extraordinary musician from the get-go. I liken him to somebody even like Jaco Pastorius. These were people who were on another planet musically. Yeah. Their playing was unlike other bass players, other musicians. He really was in another stratosphere. And, you hear that on, I always think specifically on Ride the Lightning is where he really shined.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's so much good stuff on that one.
So other than that, I'm East Coast, they're West Coast. They're on the road most of the time. So I really didn't get, unfortunately, to see Cliff a lot. I used to bug him about we used to call them elephant bell bottoms because they were really wide at the bottom and they would cover your whole shoe. And he would also, again, tell me, shut up, get me a six-pack, But I loved taunting and teasing him. He was a lovely human being. And, I think he was... maybe 24 when we lost him.
Crazy. Yeah, I saw that even
crazy.
This year Metallica will play with Leonard Skinner, and I was just like, man, Cliff would have loved that bill.
Oh, sure. Wait. Where are they playing with Leonard Skinner?
Florida, some festival in Florida. One of the nights, it's Metallica and Leonard Skinner co-headlining or whatever.
Uh-oh.
It's gonna be.
I think I gotta get there.
That's gonna be fun.